For everyone asking what the term sexy baby means, it actually refers to Jacob falling in love with Renesmee.
It's a wolf thing. This should be good.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Ali and today we are discussing Midnights by Taylor Swift. A lot of you guys have asked me to update my Taylor Swift ranking video. It is barely a month since the album came out and that is simply not enough time for me to judge it. It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair to Midnights, it wouldn't be fair to the other albums. My ranking would honestly change daily at this point, so I can't do it yet. But honestly, I think this video is going to spoil the way that I feel about quite a lot of the songs. I'm not saying anything for certain, but I think you'll be able to tell. Before we get any further into this, I just need you to see my top. Is this not the most Midnights themed thing you've ever seen? I was gonna say I would totally wear it to tour, but I missed out on tickets, so I don't want to talk about it. If you did get tickets, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Let me know where you're going. It hurts. As with all of my videos, I'm going to be sharing fun facts throughout it about the album, and by far my favorite thing is that Midnights the album came out the day that Taylor Swift turned exactly 12,000 days old. As in like 12,000, like midnight on a clock. I fact checked this. It is true. And like that to me, it's just so funny that in the past we've been like, oh, this date adds up to 13, and she never really followed that pattern, but 12,000 days old exactly, and she drops the album Midnights. Her mind. That is the most insane, unhinged thing to me, and I love it. There was no chance she was moving this album like she did for Adele last year. That shit was planned. While I've got you here, thank you so much for just the most lovely comments on my last two videos. As you guys know, getting to host the listening party for UMG was just the most insane opportunity that I never thought would ever happen to someone like me. So the fact that, fuck, I swear people are gonna start taking bets, not on if I cry in a video, because I always do, but just how long into the video it takes. Well, here we are. Yeah, it really meant a lot to me. As most of you know, I've had a hard couple of years lately, and Taylor's music has literally been a constant in my life since I was a child, since 2006. And to get to be with people that feel that same way and celebrate music that same way, I can't talk about it. Anyway, thank you guys for being so happy and supportive for me. And I'm sorry that I didn't get to film a proper sit-down reaction video. I hope this makes up for it. I opened up in that video about how much I've been struggling with anxiety and how hard it was to not let that get in the way of my dreams. So I'm really glad that it didn't. Also, because I haven't uploaded in a couple weeks, YouTube's gonna hate me. Please give this video a thumbs up. Just helps me out in the algorithm. I appreciate it so much. The first thing that I have to say about this album, and this is gonna sound crazy, to me, Midnights is really an album for the fans. And I know that sounds insane because it literally broke like every world record in history and was streamed by like every single person on the planet Earth. But in terms of appreciating the little things in these songs, it's things that fans will pick up on, hence why I'm making this video today. And I just think that's really special. Like 1989, don't get me wrong, was like the pop album of all time, but that was kind of a worldwide, everyone loves it, everyone gets it kind of moment. But Midnights, even with the mainstream success, I think is going to like live on as a fan favorite. I just think it hits more with us. Anyway, the reasons for that will be pointed out in this video today. I'm so excited to share all the little Easter eggs and references that Taylor wove in, and even things that she didn't that I just have interpreted myself. If there are any things that I missed, please leave them down below in the comments. One of the most frequently asked questions or comments that I got on my previous video was about if this album were old songs, kind of vault tracks as we've come to know them as, from these previous times in Taylor's life, and the answer to that is no. So these songs were written in recent years. We don't necessarily know how long ago she started writing them, but these are fresh perspectives on old experiences for her, which is just something that I adore so much. You guys know I have a very nostalgic little bitch heart, and Taylor's ability to reflect on her life and write about it in a way that feels so fresh and so current. I mean, as someone that also never lets go of anything, I understand, but I'm just so glad she was able to draw so much from these experiences that happened so long ago. These 13 sleepless nights, or I guess 20 or 21 if you include Hits Different, which I very much do, were ones that clearly had an impact. All right, I've been talking for long enough. Let's listen to some songs. First up, we have Lavender, Haze. Every time I hear that opening, I just am transported back to hearing it for the first time. I'm sure it's the same for many of you, realizing in that moment it's a pop album. And like having kind of all these dreams that I had of getting pop Taylor again instantly come true. What's also so fun about making this video today is that like the last time you and I spoke about this album and these songs, I didn't know the words yet. Like I was just reacting to hearing them for the first time, and now it's all I've listened to for a month straight, so it's very different. This is my favorite part. Oh yeah, it just sounds so good. I know now what future editing me is going to insert, but this is what that drumming part reminds me of. All this shit is new to me, oh yeah. I love the little flip of the script where she names this song after a 1950s phrase that she learned from Mad Men. And then the lyrics is like, all that 1950s shit they want from me? Nah, no deal. The only kind of girl they see is a one night or a wife. That line, the only kind of girl they see is a one night or a wife, is brilliant because it not only applies to Taylor, but also basically the entire female population. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Madonna complex. I might need to censor that so that YouTube still likes me, but essentially it's this notion that women can either be respectable or sexual, never both.
Kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? What? Well, if you say you haven't, you're a prude. If you say you have, you're a slut.
And so with this line, she just sums it up so perfectly. She's like, either I'm this one night stand that you're gonna hit it and quit it, or I'm this red era dressed in like old school conservative outfits that makes me respectable and worthy. And the answer is no, you can be both. And I feel like with Joe, the way that she sings about him and their love and how much mutual respect there is between them and how much love and admiration, but also songs like Dress, we know that she gets to have both. I know that it is not interpolated or sampled in any way, but the degree that this sounds like I Think He Knows to me, that had to be deliberate. The talk your talk and go viral just reminds me so much of life hacks going viral in the bathroom. Life hacks going viral in the bathroom. So, Maroon. If I reflect back on my predictions video, it might be the only song that I kind of correctly guessed the theme. We're exploring the darker or at least more complex feelings and emotions of the red era and also the color red. It's that same discussion of a all-encompassing love, but from a more matured perspective. In this song, we've got red wine that they're drinking, which is obviously a much more matured drink. The same way that burgundy is a deeper, darker color. And I'm a red stan, so I kind of knew that I was gonna love this song. I mean, not saying if I do or don't, but I love that she's singing about this in a way that like love is no longer just faster than the wind, passionate as sin. That was almost the black and white, I mean ironic because it's about red, but this all-encompassing everything or nothing kind of view of love, whereas this is all of those in-between moments. Let's listen to some of the lyrics. The first time I listened to that, actually probably the first like 10 or 100 times, I thought it was like after a sleepover when there's just like nowhere to crash and you're so tired so you sleep on the floor. That's not what she meant. My brain is too innocent at times, but it hit me at one point listening to that song. I was like, oh, they were drinking and they woke up together on the floor. What sometimes leads to you waking up on the floor with someone. You can fill in the blanks, but yeah, it took me way too long to get to that realization. I have two important things to say about that line. First of all, the parallel to rosé flowing with your chosen family, beautiful. The other thing is the way that that exactly mirrors the, I don't know what you would call that, melody of King of My Heart. Tell me that doesn't sound like... And personally, people might be like, but the songs are about different people. I don't think Taylor has ever had the need to make a certain song only be about one person. I just think her brain and our brains can hold multitudes of perspectives and feelings, and you can write from a bunch of different places for that. Homegirl loves to not wear shoes lately, and like every photo she's taken for this era, those dogs are always out. The absolute first thing that my brain thought of when I heard the one I was dancing with in New York, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. It was of course these photos, and then later it was confirmed that night she was in fact barefoot. So that just makes my heart so happy. Again, I love her ability to just reflect on memories, whether it worked out or it didn't, and not just have some black and white perspective of any ex or any relationship, situationship that like didn't last. To be able to look at that in a positive or at least healthy way is just so mature to me, and I just wish everyone could do that. As a lifelong 1D girly, you know I have to talk about that lyric because any wine splash stain reference just draws me right back to "This ain't the stain of a red wine, I'm bleeding love" by One Direction from Olivia, the song that is heavily rumored to be about Taylor. And then of course, "Like a wine stained dress I can't wear anymore" from Clean. I love the imagery of that stain because it gives this indication of like something that was previously clean or perfect or like untainted, i.e. maybe their relationship if it was going really well. This is the first breakdown. Also, when you guys first heard the mark you saw on my collarbone, let me know what you first thought of, because obviously that could mean a hickey. My brain went to the Red tour when she was performing and a fan had like face paint on them, and when they hugged her it got like the marks across her body. I don't know why my brain went there, but that's what I thought of. How the hell did we lose with your head in your hand? The way that her two verses in this song perfectly mirror each other, but then with a developed story, like from laughing with my feet in your lap to sobbing with your head in your hands. How did we lose track of time? How did we lose sight of us? It flows perfectly. Carnations you had thought were roses, that's us. I also love that reference that like he brought carnations possibly as like an apology and he thought they were roses, and her being like, that's essentially all that we were. We thought we were roses, we thought we were great, we thought we were this rich, expansive, like beautiful, deep red, perfect flower, when in reality we were a lesser version of that. Sorry to any Carnations fans out there. Now, this is the only lyric on the entire album that confused me a little bit. And it's funny because when I put that on my Instagram story and I asked, how do you guys interpret that? Every single person was so completely different. For me, I thought it was kind of like her saying, you as my ex-partner or someone that I was with, you know very well everything or everyone that I gave up to be with you. I feel like rubies refers to something precious and rare and like a past healthy love, and she gave that up to be with him. But please let me know how you interpret it, because I feel like I could be really wrong. I was dancing away in New York. That's a real fucking legacy to leave. On my t-shirt when he slashed. I can't handle. I mean, I'm gonna talk way more about this in my ranking video, so I won't go too much about what I love about a song, but when she sings with that deep voice, yes. It's a yes from me, dog. Anyway, I know I haven't revealed mine yet, but if you would like to leave your ranking, at least your current ranking in this video, please feel free. I would love to read those comments. So, anti-hero. I truly can't help it, but that opening just sounds like Only the Young. Let's hear Anti-Hero again. And then... it's different for sure, but I hear it. Can I just say, as a longtime Taylor Swift fan, Taylor, if you're watching this, great job picking the lead single. Well, I don't know if it's called a lead single if it comes out after the album is released, but like first single, we've broken the curse, guys. Where I get older, but just never wiser. I will be pausing this one a lot. Not only is this lyrically some of the best writing and most vulnerable writing that she's done in a long time, her voice sounds immaculate. When my depression works the graveyard shift all of the people. Only Taylor Swift would think to include a Beauty and the Beast reference in a song about like how much she struggles with her own self-worth and self-hatred. It's me. I'm the problem, it's me. Again, I talked about this in my initial reactions video, but what I love about this song is that it can be interpreted in two ways. I think this song plays on her insecurities around both a romantic partner, the love of her life, leaving her because it's just too hard, and you know, she feels, as we'll learn in the next verse, like a monster on the hill. Like she's just too big to hang out, not really like a regular person at this point because she just can't be Taylor. She's only Taylor Swift, and how much that would get in the way of a romantic relationship, as we saw in songs like Peace. But I also feel like this song can apply to the fans, because it's like her biggest fear is that we'll realize she's scheming and she's manipulative. That fear about her waking up and realizing that we've left, I think that can both apply to her love but also her fans, like the other biggest love of her life. The people that have given her this career and this life and, you know, supported her through everything and kind of worshipped or at least appreciated her through this whole journey will suddenly realize, you know what, not for me, it's too much, and just abandon ship. So I think it works both ways.
It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me, at tea time, everybody agrees.
I also love her use of tea time, because it's like, oh, at tea time, like when people gather around, but also tea time, like spilling tea and gossiping. And I mean, I feel like tea is almost a way of talking about, you know, rumors and drama, and that definitely works with Taylor and how, much like Harry Potter, they may not want it, but drama follows them everywhere.
I swear I don't love the drama, it loves me, everybody agrees.
I have many involuntary things that happen to me when I listen to this album, and one of them is on that beat. I just end up doing the Raven Simone, yep, that's me movement. That is probably the lyric for this song that just sums it up to me. I'll stare directly at the sun but never in the mirror. She can do the most painful and damaging thing, which is to stare directly at the sun, and yet her own self-view is worse. Her own self-reflection and having to look inwards at herself is just more painful than that. That breaks my heart so much, and this song is just genius. Also, I know people are laughing and, you know, calling her millennial for the "it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me." First of all, she is a millennial, that's not an insult. But secondly, I think the people that are making those jokes like really weren't around, or at least aware of Taylor in the 2010s, because every single media publication thought it was the funniest joke of all time to be like, hey, has Taylor Swift thought of writing a song where she says, I'm the problem actually? That was every single dude bro and internalized misogynistic girl's favorite meme to reference, being like, why doesn't Taylor realize that maybe she's the problem actually? And now she's given you exactly that, and you're still like, this is a bit cringe actually. To me, this song, it just perfectly sums up that the way that she was treated from like 2010 to 2017 about being shamed for dating a normal amount of people in your 20s and writing songs about being in love or having your heart broken the same way that literally every artist does. It's not the time. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of Afterglow, another song where she was like, okay, I'm really sorry, it actually is, it's all me in my head, I'm the one that burned us down. Again, like Back to December, I do love a song where it's like taking blame, but in this song, I don't think she should be. Does that part remind anyone else of "we don't even have to try, it's always a good time"? We don't even have to try, it's always a good time.
Everybody is sexy, baby, and I'm a monster on the hill.
I feel like at this point, everyone is probably aware what that phrase means, but just in case, we can do a quick run through. Basically, the term sexy baby, it is just such a perfect term. I know it sounds insane when you like have those two words together, but as a woman in this world, in this society, there are two things that we are expected to be at all times in order to be desirable and worthy, and that is sexy, but also infant-like, hairless and innocent and submissive.
Society puts a lot of pressure on us to act a certain way. TGS is a safe place, so you can drop the sexy baby act and lose the pigtail and that voice. I want you to talk in your real voice.
This is my real voice, and the whole sexy baby thing isn't an act. I'm a very sexy baby.
Think of Britney Spears in the 2000s. At all times, she had to be sexy and like for the male gaze, but also important, she had to be innocent and pure. And then here's Taylor, especially now that she's in her 30s and feels like she's aging out of it, like we saw in Nothing New. She feels like everyone is meeting this standard and she's just this like monster on the hill. I feel like any girl that grew up taller or bigger than the rest of her friends must absolutely identify with that line. Just loved her choice of lyrics saying, slowly lurching towards your favorite city. Like the imagery of that is unmistakable. You just picture like Godzilla basically coming towards your town to destroy it because she feels too big. She's unable to be a regular person. So that line encompasses, yes, her physical nature, but more so I think her status in the world. She can't just like go to brunch with friends or hang out in a crowded space and be Taylor. She is Taylor Swift, and at times that to her feels like she's a monster. I cannot even imagine how awful it would be to be famous at all, but especially at her level, where you can't just like live your day-to-day life. The lack of privacy and inability to live regular experiences, like she said in her honorary, New York graduation speech, she can't have regular people experiences. Like, she didn't get to go to college or have these experiences that a lot of us regular people get to do because she's too big. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why do you feel bad for these millionaires? I do. I don't think money makes you happy. I think connection makes people happy. And the thought that, I'm not gonna cry at this, but the thought that people are so famous that they feel lonely. I think being that famous would be incredibly lonely and isolating. So I just really appreciate her lyricism and vulnerability in this song.
And someone screams out, she's laughing up at us from hell.
To me, the delivery of that line is the he looks up grinning like a devil of this album.
Everybody agrees.
In case anyone didn't pick that up, the extended S's on agrees sounds exactly like a snake or a serpent hissing, which is a genius reference to the Reputation era when the whole world hated her and everybody agreed.
Hashtag Taylor Swift is over party was the #1 trend on Twitter worldwide. Do you know how many people have to be tweeting that they hate you for that to happen?
It just feels like it's more than music now at this point. And just most days I'm like, okay. But then sometimes I'm just like, it just gets loud sometimes.
I just wanted to disappear.
Agrees, everybody agrees.
You might be wondering why there's so many snakes everywhere, huh? Well, the reason is that a couple of years ago, someone called me a snake on social media, and it caught on, and then a lot of people were calling me a lot of things on social media, and I went through some really low times for a while because of it. Sometimes when I didn't know if I was gonna get to do this anymore, and I guess the snakes, I wanted to send a message to you guys that if someone uses name calling to bully you on social media, that doesn't have to defeat you. It can strengthen you instead.
We do now have, I think it's 4 billion remixes of this song, which feels unnecessary, but I appreciate it. I do really, really love the acoustic version. Let me know what your favorite is. Let's talk about everyone's least favorite song, Snow on the Beach. I don't care if this is not a Christmas song, it's a Christmas song to me.
One night.
As you guys know, I've never listened to Lana Del Rey. This was my first introduction to her and I am impressed. I know we heard her for like literally 0.2 of a second, but what I did get I really enjoyed and I wanted more. So I will have to listen to some more Lana at some point. If you guys could recommend like an album or maybe a couple of songs you think I would like the best, that's probably my best way to go about it. And I've seen everyone on TikTok putting this as like their last song, their least favorite song. I get it if you're expecting like so much more Lana and are disappointed with that. I would have loved for her to have more too, but it is just so beautiful to me. I mean, I'm meant to be speaking really objectively in this video. I just love all the references to like stars and flying saucers. Your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. That instantly just reminded me of Starry Eyes Sparking Up My Darkest Night from Call It What You Want, or even Eyes Like Sinking Ships from Gold Rush, or Ocean Blue Eyes Looking in Mine from Gorgeous. I just love the way she sings about eyes. Also, Stars by The Pocketful might be my favorite lyric on this whole album.
And it's like snow at the beach, stars by the pocketful. You want me.
This song definitely has one of my favorite bridges of the whole album.
I can't speak, but your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. Can this be a real thing? Are we falling like snow at the beach?
Shout out to the people at the listening party with me because we totally did not get that reference right.
Now I'm off you like Janet.
I thought the Janet reference was a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference, which to me made sense. I honestly think because the way it's delivered is kind of flat, which reminded me of like Magenta's voice.
I'm in a dream, stars by the pocketful, coming down the sun, it's all around.
Look, honestly, this song is just heavenly to me. I would have loved for there to be more Lana, but I love it regardless. I need to power through this because I have so much more to say about the later tracks. Next up, we have Miss Track 5 herself, You're On Your Own Kid, which coincidentally is how I feel about the Eras tour, having not got any tickets.
The scary news is you're on your own now. But the cool news is you're on your own now.
I mean, you guys know I love a track 5, who doesn't? But this song to me is so special because it's Taylor talking to her younger self. And That just makes me so emotional. Like, the old Taylor can come to the phone right now, and it's in this song. I have a lot to say about this song, and I'm going to take you through the lyrics kind of one by one because I just think it is so genius and so important. Firstly, the lyric from sprinkler splashes to fireplace ashes, I originally interpreted that as like her growing up, growing older, but I realized it also works well for like the passing of time in general from one season to the next. Sprinkler splashes obviously being summer, and then fireplace ashes to winter.
Summer went away, still the yearning stayed.
As a kid, summer is the most fun time. It's basically the one time that you can kind of do whatever you want with no schedule. It's still the yearning stage. She's back at school, but she's just missing that time she had probably to play her guitar and write songs and dream about making it out, obviously, and you know, this music career that she wanted to have so bad.
I wait patiently, he's gonna notice me.
That line to me just very much encompasses her first two albums, which were about being in love with a boy that just saw her as a friend, aka You Belong With Me, Hey Steven. In fact, this whole song is very, I'm just a girl trying to find her place in this world, and then we kind of move on to her getting out.
You're on your own, kid, you always have been.
Firstly, I still remember hearing that for the first time and immediately just like letting out the most guttural scream because that is such a painful line and none of us saw it coming. But at the same time, it's so beautiful because it's like, yeah, you're on your own, but you always have been, and you've gotten yourself to exactly where you are today. You've got through every hard time, every challenge, every bit of grief or trauma on your own, and that's all you really need.
I see the great escape, so long Daisy May.
So I had to look this up. Daisy May was a cartoon character that essentially her life revolved around love that she had for this man that didn't love her back. So she was defined by her unrequited love. So that line to me is like Taylor saying, all right, no more Mrs. Nice Girl. It's like in Grease when Sandy says goodbye to Sandra D. She's stripping away that I'm so in love with him head over heels identity to become her own self.
Something different bloomed, riding in my room.
That part is so key to me because it's like, okay, I was rejected again, I'm heartbroken again, what am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna do about that? And rather than letting it define her or like break her down, she uses those moments of heartbreak, and whether that's to do with a relationship, a boy, or just any kind of, you know, moment in life that feels hard, she turned that into her power. She wrote songs and that was her ticket out. For anyone that doesn't know, I don't know if people still do this or kids today like wouldn't know about this, people would get flowers and pick the petals off one by one saying he loves me not, until there's only one left, and that's kind of the answer. So she's saying, I picked the petals, he didn't love me, and then something different bloomed. Bloomed being a reference to the flower, the flowers blooming. She's saying that didn't work, that died, but this was blooming instead. So her heartbreak became her strength, and I obviously think that Taylor had the talent and the drive.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour.
And the hard work to get her anywhere no matter what. But it's crazy to think about, you know, people in small towns that do often end up falling in love and staying with their high school sweetheart, and things work out and they get married young and they stay in that town, which we know from Midnight Rain and kind of everything else about her that she didn't want. It's just crazy to think about if that, you know, first crush had worked out and they'd stayed together and she'd stayed there. Whereas the fact that it didn't is almost what fueled her to become so successful and to make it out.
You're on your own, kid. You always have been.
I swear to God, I hate whoever made that TikTok that transitions from that into our song is a slam screen door, because that is now all I hear when I'm at that part of the song and it won't get out of my brain. So I spoke about this earlier and I speak about this all the time on my channel, but I love when Taylor repeats a lyric or slightly changes the lyric to have a fully different meaning. So in this second chorus, she says, I'll run away. And then it goes into from sprinkler splashes to fireplace ashes. It's now changed. She's saying, I'll run away from that. I'll run away from sprinkler splashes and fireplace ashes. She's calling the taxi and she's leaving. The same goes to me for the party of better bodies. Originally, that of course can mean her comparing herself to her peers, physically a better body. She feels insecure about that. But then in the second verse, when she's kind of left her hometown, she's beginning her career and she says, I searched the party of better bodies. This now to me has a whole different meaning and could be about better bodies, aka her industry peers that have a more impressive body of work in her mind. So I just love how that can have multiple meanings. We need to talk about this damn bridge. It is so incredible, and to me I think just perfectly chronicles her career. To me, that is very clearly just the debut and Fearless eras of her being a child, the innocence, and then suddenly we get to to me, that is a perfect representation of Speak Now and Red. Speak Now being her only solo written album, because the reviews from, you know, Fearless were like, well, she couldn't do it on her own. It's all just the people helping her. So she was like, all right, I will put my blood, sweat and tears into this album and prove that I can do it. And then Red being her first album that kind of steered out of the country world and was experimenting with pop sounds and different genres, which also received a lot of scrutiny. We then have again, I think we all can probably, I think we all sing. We all probably remember hearing that line for the first time. It cut deep. I was not expecting her to reference her eating disorder on this album at all, or just like even struggles with weight and insecurity around that. I really do hate that she was forced to censor herself in the music video for Anti-Hero around that, because eating disorders just don't have a size. It's not about how much you weigh. You don't have to weigh a certain amount, minimum or maximum, to be validated in experiencing an eating disorder. And I hate that people really invalidated that for her. It is a mental thing. It is about how you perceive yourself. And also it's not only her own self-reflection. The world literally has been telling her that for years. You can find millions of media articles and paparazzi photos that like I cannot even imagine seeing about yourself. So I think everyone needed to get off her back personally.
It's not good for me to see pictures of myself every day. I tend to get triggered by something, whether it's a picture of me where I feel like I looked like my tummy was too big, or like someone said that I looked pregnant or something, and that'll just trigger me to just starve a little bit, just stop eating. There's always some standard of beauty that you're not meeting. Because if you're thin enough, then you don't have that ass that everybody wants. But if you have enough weight on you to have an ass, then your stomach isn't flat enough. It's all just fucking impossible.
I think she's very much allowed to feel insecure about her body, no matter what her size is. It's not about what you look like, because that's like saying that there's some perfect size that she should be, and if she is that size, she can't complain, because there is no perfect size to be. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Again, to me, that perfectly encapsulates the Reputation era. I took the money is very much, I put the money in the bag and I stole the keys.
That was the last time you ever saw me.
That was the last time you ever saw me. Driving the getaway car.
The jokes weren't funny also made me think of how Jake, sorry, the person who inspired All Too Well, made her feel like she was never good at telling jokes, which we all know she is. But my favorite line is,
I looked around in a blood-soaked gown.
that line to me is probably my favorite from this whole song, which is saying a lot. That just instantly made me think of Carrie, which, if anyone hasn't seen it, is about basically a girl who has powers and doesn't really know how to control them in the beginning, but slowly learns over time. But the important parallel here for Taylor is that Carrie was very much an outcast. She was, you know, called different and isolated from her peers, and people made fun of her, and that was solely because people thought she was weird. While her powers were what made her different and an outcast, they were also what made her strong, which I think is the same for Taylor. And I think this is so genius, because also Carrie's very public downfall, which is what she's referencing here, the blood-soaked gown, came directly after the height of her success when she was crowned prom queen, and then just immediately stripped of that, being publicly humiliated and shunned. The height of Taylor's success was 1989, which was also immediately ripped away from her. So to me, that analogy was just perfect. I don't know if it's exactly what she meant, but that's where my mind went to. And then to follow that up with, I saw something they can't take away. It's like, A, her work, she wrote all these songs and she can do them again. She's gonna own them eventually, because they can't take that away. That's her ownership, it's her memories, it's her. But also the fans. I think the relationships that she's built with people over time and her career, but also just the impact she's left on this world, the mark that she's had, that can't be taken away. So then obviously there were pages turned with the bridges burned, directly reminded me of Call It What You Want.
Bridges burn, I never learned, at least I did one thing right. Make the friendship race and speak the moment it takes, and you're on your own, kid. You're on your own, kid. You always have.
For me, You're On Your Own Kid hit particularly hard, not because I've experienced, anywhere near the kind of stress or isolation that she has, but it hit for me as someone that has always really centered friendships and female friendships in my life, and obviously friendships don't last forever or stay the same that they were, and so listening to this song kind of, it just hit on that level of missing someone that I thought would always be part of my life, or always be part of my life in the same way, and how at the end of the day, like, the only person that will always have your back is you. This song has just been such a therapy, I suppose, to be reminded that even if you do feel lonely or left out or isolated or on your own, that it's okay. As long as you've got you, that's all you need. Take the moment and taste it. Just reminds me so much of, I said remember this moment from Long Live. We need to talk about Midnight Rain, and I'm so sorry for what I'm about to say. I found out who that other voice is, and you're not gonna like this. It's James Charles. I do apologize for saying that, but it had to be said. I really love that this song sounds like two very distinct different voices, because that's what the whole song is about. Two people wanting two very distinct different things.
My boy was a montage, jumping off into the ocean. He was sunshine, I was midnight. He wanted a bride, I was making my own name.
The lyrical parallel between he wanted a bride, I was making my own name, to back then I swore I was gonna marry him someday, but I realized some bigger dreams of mine from 15. As a 15 stan, that just blew my mind instantly, that parallel. That is all I can think about when I hear that line. I know everyone's trying to pinpoint whether this song is about Taylor Lautner or even Tom Hiddleston. I just think it's a song that can be kind of reflective of multiple periods of her life. A lot of it would be about someone we don't know about, like some regular person. Wanting a bride, obviously that doesn't happen in like a high school relationship. I mean, unless you're Haley and Nathan, go for it. But the fact that she says, he wanted a bride, I was making my own name. It's not just I was making a name for myself, it was making my own name, which to me indicates he also was making a name for himself and she wanted to make her own name. Also, the fact that if it is about Taylor, it's like, I was making my own name because we have the same name. This song is also obviously just the grown-up version of The Way I Loved You.
You wanted it comfortable, I wanted that pain.
Perfectly fine, but I miss screaming and fighting and kissing in the rain. He wanted a bride, I was making my own name. She would have made such a lovely bride. What a shame she's fucked in the head. I guess sometimes we all get just what we wanted, but you'll find the real thing instead.
There's a melody in this which is also very similar to me to one of Taylor's old songs. See if you can pick it. I could be so off, but to me that he wanted it comfortable, I wanted that pain is so similar to hey, all you had to do was stay. It's probably not the same key, but like in my mind it is.
Picture perfect, shiny family, holiday, peppermint candy.
The reference to peppermint candy, to me, just rules out any Tom Hiddleston rumors or references because they were together over the summer. Back to December, however, Christmas time, peppermint candy.
All the love we unraveled, and the life I gave away.
Again, that just reminds me so much of like the rubies that I gave up. She could have had this easy, you know, normal girl life with this guy. She could have been real happy just being someone's wife, but she really couldn't because that's not who she is. And I also think it's very important that we talk about the fact that that is a viable choice, that is a respectable choice, that is a valid choice for anyone who wants it to be someone's wife, someone's husband, someone's mother, someone's father. That's just not what she wanted.
Sometimes we all get just what we wanted.
Love that also because if it was about Tom or Taylor or someone else, like they're both married now. They both got what they wanted. If you want that, you'll find it. Maybe it's not with the person you're with right now, but you can each get what you wanted. And Taylor made her own name. So there's a happy ending for everyone. You just have to find the right person that wants what you want.
And he never thinks of me, except when I'm on TV.
I was thinking about that line and I was like, how often is Taylor even on TV? And then I was like, TV. Taylor's version. When else do these old songs of hers that could be about these men from her past come around, and like when else would they maybe think of her? When Taylor's versions are coming out. Like Schmake Schmillenhall's life was made a living hell. When Red TV came out, when Speak Now TV comes out, everyone will be talking about Schmo Schmernus and Schmodge Mayer.
Sometimes we all get some kind of haunted, some kind of haunted.
Again, I know you guys probably think I'm unhinged for this, but my theory around Haunted being about, I just think that it was written for the Twilight New Moon soundtrack. You'll never convince me otherwise. Listen to the song, listen to the lyrics, it just makes too much sense. And so the fact that she's like haunted, some kind of haunted. How many people has she been with that were in the Twilight franchise? Who is specifically New Moon about? Exactly, I rest my case. Now we get to talk about Question. This is one of the most iconic openings she's ever given us. Where the hell did she get the audacity and also the idea to open this song with a sample of Out of the Woods? I could not have in a million years predicted that. And a thought that I only very recently had is the fact that this song is called Question, right? Think of the chorus from Out of the Woods. It's all a question. It's, are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? That anxiety and her asking him this question. There are a million ways that she could have phrased that, and this song is also a question, and I love that. Before you painted my nights a color I've searched for since. Again, referencing the red era, but also reminding me of illicit affairs. You showed me colors you know I can't see with anyone else.
Can I ask you a question?
Now, I'm sure most of you have heard about this since the album came out, but in the chorus of this song, she is sampling, at least from what I can hear, it hasn't been confirmed, but like I swear I can hear it, Out of the Woods.
Can I ask you a question? Did you ever have someone kiss you in a crowd? And every single one of your friends was me. Do you wish you could still touch her? It's just a question.
This song to me is one of the most relatable because how many relationships or situationships have you had that just didn't give you any closure and you're like, man, I don't like care about this person or want them necessarily in my life anymore, but I would just love to know the answer to a few little questions.
Everything's just second best after that meteor strike.
Just personally, I love that she refers to her and Harry as a meteor strike because that's how it felt to me as well.
And she's really good, so they're good songs.
Also, the lyrics and what's that I heard that you're still with her. That to me is very similar to the Bridge of Style. He says, what you heard is true, but I can't stop thinking about you. I said I've been there too a few times. Wait, can someone please mash up Question and Style? I absolutely need that.
15 seconds later, they were clapping to.
In case you didn't know, that clapping and cheering in the background is Jack Antonoff, Dylan O'Brien, Rachel Antonoff, and I want to say Joe, but I could be wrong about that. So sorry, not Joe, Austin Swift. We love that. I love that it's Taylor and Jack and their siblings and then just Dylan O'Brien, because why not?
It's just a question.
The way that she delivers that, it's just a question. She's like, don't get offended. You don't need to make excuses. It's just a question. I need her to sample her own songs more often because her putting the I remember in the beginning of this song is one of the best things she's ever done for me personally, and I really appreciate it. This whole song is basically like, we could have worked out if you hadn't done all these things. Very much all you had to do was stay. Hi, I'm back with much worse lighting now, and we're gonna talk about Vigilante shit. What is this called on the clean version? Is it Vigilante stuff? Vigilante shit clean version. It's just Vigilante. I was so scared at the listening party I was gonna accidentally play the clean version.
Draw the cat eyes sharp enough to kill a man.
Someone made the most fantastic remix of this. I'll put it in here because it just gets me hyped.
Draw the cat eyes sharp enough to kill a man.
I think I would say this song is kind of what we all expected Karma to be, which more on that later, but I cannot believe that she wrote these lyrics.
Sometimes I wonder which one will be your last lie. I don't dress for women, I don't dress for men. Lately I've been dressing for revenge.
Is it corny? Yes. Do I love it anyway? Maybe. Again, you'll have to wait for my ranking to know which songs are my favorite, which songs are not. Feel free to guess down below. Actually, that reminds me, on my full Taylor Swift ranking every song video, I did this thing where I tried to name a song from each album that I think would fit perfectly. It was almost like a stepping stone, and it would fit in like a different album, the one before or the one after. It's more of a leap, but I just think this song would have fit so perfectly on Reputation. To me, the lyric, I don't start shit, but I can tell you how it ends, represents the whole song perfectly because it's like, think of all of the things that kind of were drama surrounding her in recent years, whether that's her masters, the Kanye Kim incident, her dating a normal amount and being slut shamed for it. The media has since apologized and been like, yeah, that was actually kind of gross of us to view that through that lens. We were wrong. The Kanye Kim thing, the lies came out in the end. It was proven that that phone call was edited. Their marriage has fallen apart. Kanye, the world finally sees him for the piece of shit that he is. None of these things that have caused so much drama in her life were started by her, and yet she's like, I can tell you how it ends because karma is real. I just feel like Karma and this song marry so well together. And to me, this is the song that like I can imagine everyone using for their Instagram captions, like don't get sad, get even, or
she needed cold hard proof, so I gave a song.
That line could obviously just be a bit of fun storytelling, kind of a bit of nobody no crime vibes, but also wouldn't be surprised if it was true. I feel like I have the least to say about this song because it is so clear and straightforward in a lot of the messaging, but I particularly love the bridge. Ladies always rise above, ladies know what people want, someone sweet and kind and fun, which is just, you know, again, like we were saying before, she's talking about everything that society says a woman should be, which is like speak when spoken to essentially, and just, you know, you're there to look pretty, you're there to do no harm, and like you're there to do nothing, just be seen. Sweet and kind and fun. Then she just flips it on its head and says, ladies simply had enough. And then we get one of the best song moments from this whole album.
But he was doing lines and crossing all of mine.
I truly hope that my reaction video gets back online one day because us reacting to that was such a fun moment. And again, the lyric, I don't dress for villains or for innocence. This is another song that I feel like applies to more than one person. Obviously we have Scooter, but also Kanye in this song. I think it's so okay. I also desperately need someone to mash up Lately I've Been Dressing for Revenge with Better Than Revenge. Even if just for me, I need that. You guys know I love Better Than Revenge, and I feel like if Hailey and Paramore can sing Misery Business again, I have faith that Taylor will sing Better Than Revenge again and that she will re-record it. God, I hope so. I know this wasn't deliberate, but the fact that this album came out on Kim Kardashian's birthday, it is just such a beautiful coincidence and like divine intervention that that would happen. Obviously it was because it was when Taylor turned 12,000 days old, but like what a nice little cherry on top. And the icing on top is obviously the whole world realizing what an asshole Kanye West is. The fact that she mentions innocence, like all for innocence, that to me is clearly a reference to Innocent, her song that was about Kanye and about forgiving Kanye, which I believe he never deserved and definitely not now. He deserves this song instead. I have been recording. Next up, Bejeweled.
And the shoes I gave you as a present.
Someone said to me, I can't remember who it was, someone maybe in the comments of a recent video or even on Instagram or Twitter said that they interpreted you walking all over my peace of mind in the shoes I gave you as a present. That could represent the fact that she wrote a song for Calvin. She gave him a song like the shoes I gave you as a present, and then he kind of like threw it in her face and said in that interview the day the song came out, I would never work with Taylor Swift. Nah, just wouldn't happen. Kind of fitting.
And by the way, I'm going out tonight. Play Sheehan. I can still say I don't remember.
That line also leads me to believe that it could be about Calvin, because if you think about the original lyrics to Gorgeous, where she was like, I've got a boyfriend, he's older than us, I haven't seen him in a couple of months. You have a man, I could still say I don't remember. Like a boyfriend you haven't seen in a couple of months. This song obviously has a lot of similarities to Mirrorball and the idea of like shining super bright, but Mirrorball was almost the darker side of that, and like shining, almost like being on a hamster wheel. You're shining just for others to observe, to make others happy. Whereas Bejeweled is about shining just for yourself. This is not really an Easter egg, but the fact that in the Bejeweled music video, it said Exile Ends on the little timepiece. A, could have been a hint that she was about to perform Exile with Bon Iver. I think it was the day after that came out, but it's also almost a nod to the fact that like Exile ends, like after Folklore and Evermore are ending, that sound is done, that sound has ended, she's going back to pop. I know that's a reach, but like, I love that. This song definitely has the most obvious Bleachers, Jack Antonoff influence. Like you can really hear him on this track.
Did all the extra credit, then got graded on a curve.
The fact that she mentions being graded on a curve again refers back to This Is Me Trying, when she said, I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere. It's so interesting that she's mentioned that twice now.
I miss you, but I miss sparkling.
That to me is definitely the lyric that sums up this song. I miss you, but I miss sparkling. It's like you can miss a person or a relationship or a friendship or the way that it was, and you can acknowledge, yeah, I miss you, but I miss myself more.
Some guy said my aura's moonstone just 'cause he was high.
The callback to The Moon Was High Like Your Friends Were the night that we first met.
What's a girl gonna do? Time is gonna
I mean, this is just the most self-love, feel-good song of all time. Also, the line, I made you my world, have you heard, I can reclaim the land, is so similar to the notion in Tolerated, where she says, I made you my temple, my mural, my sky. Now I'm begging for footnotes in the story of your life. It's like she's grown up from that moment, or she's taken back the, I guess, the self-love. She's giving herself the love that she deserved and needed in Tolerated, and she's reclaiming that land. Oh, it's so good. I just love the growth from one song to the next. Also the line, what's a girl gotta do, diamonds gotta shine, it just reminds me so much of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. I know we need to talk about this music video, but I simply don't have the time today, and I'm sure everyone has already debunked all of the Easter eggs, but if not, there are great videos out there. If it's true, all of the clues in that video, and we get Speak Now Taylor's version next, I will not be okay. So let's talk about Labyrinth. Again, I don't know if it was deliberate, but the degree that this sounds like The Archer is just undeniable. That beat.
We will breathe in, breathe through, breathe deep, and breathe out.
I can't believe how many lyrics she told us ahead of this album coming out without us realizing. Like, she hid them so well. This song is about, I guess, the terror that you feel when falling in love with someone after a heartbreak. I mean, the elevator metaphor says it perfectly. Like, you don't trust what rises fast, it can't last. But I feel like Joe has kind of put that fear at ease and shown her that love can really last, even if it's like an instant attraction, which we know from Glitch. This backing, all I can hear is The Archer.
I'm falling in love. Oh, I'm falling in love.
The repetition of that, but said in 3 different ways, is kind of like her perspective shifting. Uh-oh, I'm falling in love. She's realizing that she's falling in love. Oh no, I'm falling in love again is the real fear surrounding it. Like, oh, I don't want this to happen. I'm falling in love. I'm falling. This is a scary thing. And then finally, oh, I'm falling in love is like the acceptance.
You break your back to me. Be
To me, the growth from Tolerated to then that line, you would break your back to make me break a smile. It is just such evidence of do not settle when it comes to love, because you will find someone that is everything that you could have needed and will love you the way that you deserve. It does also unfortunately remind me of Bella breaking her back. Breaking Dawn. Breaking Dawn, more like breaking back.
Thought the plane was going down, how'd you turn it right around? I'm falling in love again.
Her layered vocals in this part.
I'm falling in love again.
This song is almost like actually the red of this album. It's about how being in love or falling in love is terrifying yet exhilarating. Next we have a little song called Karma. I know that this hasn't been proven or maybe even said by anyone else, but I swear to you guys, I hear the beginning of I Did Something Bad in that opening.
He's talking shit for the hell of it, and I keep my side of the street clean. Karma is a guard, karma is the breeze in my hair on the weekend. Aren't you envious that for you it's not?
I just love that we thought this was gonna be some bad bitch Reputation kind of song, and instead it was like, I'm not even gonna really worry now about hunting you down, making sure I get even with you, because the universe is gonna do that for me. I just love the notion of taking the high road and trusting that everything will work out. Everything always comes out in the wash, and I love that Taylor knows that. Knowing the truth and telling the truth is just what is the most important thing, and the truth will always catch up with people. It just always does.
Spider boy, king of thieves. Your little webs of opacity.
Spider Boy as a lyric is just genius because it works in so many ways. Spider Boy like a spider. Spiders trap people in their web, like trapping a teenager in a recording deal where they won't actually own their own work. But then also just the initials Spider Boy, SB, Scooter Braun, and Scott Borchetta. I mean, her mind. Then we have King of Thieves. So if you didn't know, Scooter Braun recently became an investor for 100 Thieves. Spider Boy, King of Thieves. Also, picture me thick as thieves with your ex-wife. The wordplay here is just next level, and only Taylor Swift is doing this. One of these days, I won't hear Taylor singing, wow, I just sounded really Australian. I won't hear Taylor singing pennies as panties, but unfortunately today is not that day. I did hear this as panties.
But pennies made your crown. Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a god. Karma is the breeze in my hair on the weekend. Me and karma vibe like that. But I'm still here.
I was gonna say those lines initially reminded me of My Tears Ricochet, for obvious reasons, but it's also kind of a callback to It's Time to Go. 15 years, 15 million tears. And then also I gave my all, but he gave me nothing at all. Then wondered why I left. Okay, now let's enjoy the best part of this song.
Karma is the thunder. Karma's gonna track you down. Step by step from town to town. Karma is a queen. Karma is the guy on the screen. Coming straight home to me.
The fact that she says karma is the breeze in my hair on the weekend, it's like karma really is everywhere and she feels it in every element of her life. The big things like her partner and her cats that she loves, but also just the little breeze in her hair on the weekend. It's like a nice little reminder everywhere. As Justin Timberlake once said, what goes around comes around. And like, if you live life live life, breathe air, I know somehow we're gonna get there. If you live life doing your best to be a good person, yeah, things will still go wrong, but I do think the universe rewards people that put out good energy. So you don't have to worry about too much. As Queen Latifah once sang, if you're good to mama, mama's good to you. And that's how karma works as well, babe. Karma's only a bitch if you are. One lyric that I was talking to someone about the other day because I feel like it could be interpreted a few different ways. Karma takes all my friends to the summit. What does going to the summit mean? Google says the highest, most successful or most important point in something. When I first heard it, I was like, I almost interpreted it as like the summit is like heaven, as in like good people go to heaven, which I don't think it means, but I also don't think it doesn't mean, if that makes sense. Like she's saying that all of her friends and the people that love her and respect her and help her that deserve it will get good things in return, which is kind of the concept of heaven, right? Also so cute that Karma is the guy on the screen coming straight home to me. Like her boyfriend is a hot movie star. That is karma at work. Okay, we have 2 more songs on this original track listing. The fact that her and Joe made this song together is so beautiful. And so sorry, William Bowery and Taylor made this song together. I do think that their collaborations are some of the best. And you know what's funny that we always long for as fans, her to collaborate and have features on her songs, like duet with people. But if you think about it, besides I Bet You Think About Me, are any of her collaborations anyone's like #1 favorite song? Like I think it's amazing that Phoebe got a verse in Nothing New, but like no one listens to the Shawn Mendes version of Lover. Lots of people don't like Snow on the Beach, but Taylor, if you are watching this, I promise Harry Styles is the exception to that rule. And I do desperately want and need for that to happen. Thank you.
I spy with my little tired eye, tiny as a firefly.
This is something Taylor has done quite a bit. I think she did it during Folklore and Evermore, but then also in Lover with The Archer? All the King's Horses and All the King's Men. Yeah, when she kind of refers to a children's nursery rhyme but uses that in a song. That is incredibly creative to me. The fact that her eye is tired is like, well, yeah, the world is exhausting and she's been through so much to get to this happy, lovely place with Joe where he doesn't demand anything of her.
Does it ever miss Wicklow sometimes?
The reference to Wicklow is the place in Ireland, I believe, where Joe was filming Conversations with Friends, which is just so cute that like even, you know, 6 years into their relationship, they're still picking up little pebbles and keeping them for a reminder of good times they had together. It's a very like sing-songy rhyming scheme. That organ, I feel like it is, reminds me so much of Rent, if anyone's seen it.
After the push and shoving, you're in the kitchen humming.
Such beautiful imagery, you're in the kitchen humming. It's like dancing around the kitchen in the refrigerator light. Just you can so clearly see this sense that like someone is home to you. And the outside they're pushed and shoving, or they say the end is coming. It's like she feels like the whole world could be crashing around her. But Joe, or you know, whoever this song could be about, is home, is safe space, is all that really matters. And God, it feels nice that after so many years of her just being absolutely ripped to shreds by everyone, she's with someone that does not care about that stuff. And I hope in turn allows her to shut it out as well.
On the way home, I wrote a poem. You say what I mind. This happens all the time.
That verse, I think, encapsulates her and Joe's relationship more than almost any other lyric she's ever written, because she finally has someone that gets her, and that is the most invaluable thing in a relationship of any kind, friendship, romantic, to feel like someone understands you and appreciates you for the things that you most love or value about yourself. And for Taylor, I think that's like her songwriting ability. The fact that she's wrote a poem and he doesn't roll his eyes or like laugh it off or not get it, he's like, what a mind, like you're a genius, you're so brilliant. And the fact that it happens all the time, that's not even a one-off. He regularly appreciates her mind. This is just the kind of love that everyone deserves. And then everyone that complained this album didn't have enough like lyrical mastery, you know, like Folklore and Evermore did, I think this bridge is where you really get that.
Soul deconstructed, outlining each other. I'm just too soft for all of it.
Oh, that is one of my favorite lyrics from her of all time. One of the most relatable for sure. Oh, I'm just too soft for all of it. It's very much like this is me trying, but the amount of times that I want to film a video or speak about something really personal online or open up about something I'm struggling with to a friend and can't, because I'm just like, I feel too sensitive, too vulnerable, too scared of the world. Now that happens all the time. And to hear that the person who has made me feel the most understood in my whole life, which is Taylor, also feels that way, even though she's quite a bit older than me and has experienced such a different life, it's really comforting to hear that other people feel that way too. And this is a completely different topic, not what she's singing about at all, but like I even think about that with my YouTube channel growing a little bit lately, and of course I want that. Of course I love connecting with new people and like just having this incredible community, but I get scared that the more people that do come and like find this little safe space that I feel like I have on the internet, I worry that like it will be less supportive. I am a very deeply sensitive person, and I worry that, you know, I don't know who might find me or find these videos, and it's not going to be the same lovely, incredible, kind people that I'm used to, and I don't know if I could handle that. So it's a double-edged sword, but I'm working on it. I remember I found it so funny when I got one of my boosters and the person doing it was like, wow, you have really like thick skin. And I was like, trust me, I don't. I cry very easily. All right, now we need to listen to, I was about to say something about this song, but that can wait for my ranking. Just a song called Mastermind. Like bubbles. Controversial opinion, hot take. I think this would have been an incredible track one for this album. Just imagine, begins with this once upon a time, like the way that a story begins, and it's going down this sort of fairy tale path about fate, and then she just switches it up.
Once upon a time, the planets and all the stars aligned. You and I ended up in the same room at the same time.
And then suddenly she's like, just kidding, that was all a lie. Everything I said in Paper Rings about I hate accidents, except when we went from friends to this, that was a total accident. She's like, no, I'm totally lying. I planned the whole thing. The invisible string was me all along. I wove it and I lay it out in place.
I couldn't lose. What if I told you none of it was accidental? And then, just like clockwork, the dominoes cascade in a line. What if I told you I'm a mastermind?
I totally forgot to do this throughout the video, but the lyric to me that defines this song is, it was all my design. The fact that she begins by saying it was all by design to then by the end, it was all my design. It's like, you're playing God. You did this.
And the liquor in our cocktails. What if I told you none of it? On the first night that you saw me, I knew I wanted your body.
This song is just so juicy, like storytelling wise, but also sonically, that shoom when the music comes in. This part.
Checkmate, I couldn't lose. What if I told you none of it?
I just would have loved for this to have been the first track. I mean, it is a great closer. It just would have worked so well. Speaking of, which do you guys prefer, at least currently? Side A or side B, if you had to pick one? I know how I feel when it's changing.
No one wanted to play with me as a little kid, to make them love me and make it seem effortless. I'm only cryptic and Machiavellian 'cause I can. So I told you.
This song actually ties right back around to Anti-Hero. Like, I'm only cryptic and Machiavellian because I care. It's just like in Anti-Hero when she says, did you hear my covert narcissism I disguise as altruism, like some kind of congressman. She's admitting to these flaws, I guess we would call them, where she needs to control a situation and feels insecure about that and being like caught out about it, basically. I just really love that this song takes all of Paper Rings and all of Invisible String and is like, Yeah, I lied. I saw you and I knew that I needed you to be mine, so I orchestrated the whole thing and I'm a genius. And like no one wanted to play with me as a little kid. Again, one of the most heartbreaking lyrics on this album. When that's your reality and you're so lonely, you will do anything that it possibly takes to make friends and to make them love me and make it seem effortless. Hello, Mirrorball. We already know these sentiments from This Is Me Trying or Mirrorball, but like, God, this song is just so honest and I'm very proud of her for that.
Saw a white smirk on your face, you knew the entire time.
I love that. It's like the final reveal of the song. It's like, he knew. Of course he knew because he knows her so well. And he's like, I just let you think that, but of course I obviously knew.
Yeah, all you did was smile, 'cause I'm a mastermind.
The fact that it's like, yeah, all you did was smile. She revealed this thing that she thought was so villainous and so evil and so Machiavellian and like manipulative, and all he did was smile. He was like, I don't think that's bad. I love you anyway. Oh, spoiler alert, I love that song. Okay, obviously this lighting is not great and it's only gonna get worse. So let's take a quick break, check back for the 3 AM tracks.